We've covered so many different topics about healthcare, entrepreneurship in developing countries, particularly in South Asia. Today I want to turn to a completely different set of issues. It's almost more in the bucket of prevention rather than cure, and that has to do with eating. Of course, eating right, eating healthy, avoiding problem foods is a big part of good health. Anybody would tell you that prevention is much better than trying to go to the doctor multiple times to address all sorts of tertiary diseases. Now, the food issue, of course, is itself enormously complex. And perhaps the way we can start this is to situate different buckets in which we might think about food and health. The first is the supply side of food, which is somewhere along the way people grow crops, vegetables, fruits, things like that, and process it in a way that gets it over to you in a form that you can consume it. The same, of course, applies for livestock and other kinds of foods. Then there is the demand side bucket, which is what do we as individual consumers need to know about the healthy consumption of food? How are we to be reassured that what we're eating is good for us? How do we know that we're not inadvertently consuming something that we're uncomfortable with, either for scientific reasons or for societal taboo type of reasons? So there's the supply side. How do we get the food in the right measure, the right quality, the right quantity, with the right productivity? And the demand side, which is how can we be intelligent consumers of food in order to have healthy lifestyles? And then there's everything in between, which is actually a lot of stuff. It's the entire process through which a series of specialists come together to convert the food into a form that we can eat it, to store it in various degrees of disaggregation, wholesalers, sub-wholesalers, retailers, things of that nature, to preserve it, to put different additions to it, to make it perhaps more palatable for different circumstances, and ultimately to get it to us at a good price point. In this segment, we are primarily going to talk about the demand side, the second bucket, and some of this intermediation bucket of how we get things from the growers and producers of food to the users of food. What we're not going to touch on, because it's just a completely different ball of wax in some sense, is the supply side, agriculture and growing food and agricultural productivity. It's a massive area, and I'd rather focus on the other two pieces here.